Welcome back everyone to Blender and Unreal Engine, becoming a dungeon prop artist, and this is where we left it off. Now let's apply our solidify, so let's press Ctrl A and apply that out of the way. And then what we can do is first of all bring in these parts. So because I actually did my seams this time, I should be able to grab each one of these now on the inside and bring them in. So all I'm going to do is grab each one of these. I'm going to press S and X in a minute once I've got it normal. I've got it on individual, S and X, and S and Y, is it? Could we be S and Z? And for some reason, I can't bring those in. So all I'm pressing there is S and Z twice. And now I've brought them in, but you can see that I need now to pull them out. So all I'm going to do, I've brought them in. I'm going to go back to global now. And I'm going to press S and Z and just bring them all into place like so. And there we go. There is our bucket. All right, so all I'm going to do now as well is I'm going to press S again, just bring them out a little bit more, just to get them a little bit closer together. S and Z just to bring them in now, like so. And I think that's looking pretty nice. All right, so now I just want to randomize the outside of them. So I'm going to put my proportional editing on, put it onto random. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come to this. I also want to make sure that I've got connected only off because I don't want to pull them too far apart. So now if I pull it out, as you'll see, we pull them both together, which is a bit better than just pulling them separately because we don't want big holes or anything like that in there. But you can see doing this makes them look much, much better now. And that's one of the reasons we did it. So you can either pull them out or you can press the G key, whichever you prefer, like so. And now you're making it look a little bit battered on those sides. Now let's come in, take that off. And then what we'll do is we'll press tab and I'll just go in and I'll grab each one of these and I'm going to just pull them up a little bit without proportional editing on, of course. And then pull these down a little bit and then grab this one and pull them to the side a little bit maybe. So our Y and maybe this one our X maybe, something like that. Make them a little bit uneven and that looks really nice. All right, so let's right click shade smooth. Let's bring in our auto smooth and now let's bevel them off. So before we do that though, as always, let's reset our transformation. So Control A, all transforms, set origins, geometry, add modifier, bevel them off, bring it all the way down, bring it up 1, 0.003. There we go. There is our bucket. Now let's apply that. So Control A, apply it, Alt H, bring back those metal bars. So we should have some metal bars in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my bucket, press H, and then I'm going to grab these parts. And what I'm going to do is I want to pull them out basically. So because if I pull these out at the moment, you'll see that they get larger. I don't really want to do that. So the best way to do this actually is just come in, grab them going around the outside with Alt, Shift, and click, like so. Same with this one. And then what you want to do is you want to press E, Enter, Alt, and S, and bring them out that way. And that then is going to be much, much better to do it that way. So now if I press Alt H, you can see that looks much better, apart from the fact they're too far out. But now at least I can see what I'm actually doing. So now I can just press Alt S and bring them in to the right size now. And there you go. You can see just how easy it was to do it that way. Now the bottom of the bucket, I'm just going to bring it up a little bit just so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to press Control A, all transforms, right click, set origins, geometry. Let's press tab and now we can see what we're doing. Let's put it onto our vertex select. And what I'm going to do instead on this one, I'm just going to grab them. So press J. And this is the other way you can do it rather than actually bridging it. So we're just going to fill them in with J. So you just grab 2 vertices, press J, and just fill them in like so. All right. Then what you can do is you can just now mark a seam. Now, I know fill them in all that way. That's just make sure that it's not an end-on or anything like that. And now I can do is just mark seam and split them off. So if I grab this one and this one, Y, G, just to make sure they're split off. A, make sure that this is on individual origins. S and X, pull them in. And I'll just actually use the extrude on this. So just extrude them out like so. And there you go. Now let's pull them a bit closer together on the tops of them, just so it doesn't look like there's a leak in the bucket or anything. And then all I'll do then is just grab the tops of here, pull them down, and this one as well, pull it down or up a little bit, whichever way you want to go. And then we'll just grab the middle and we'll just pull it up, just making it a little bit uneven in case you want your bucket tipped over or something like that. Okay, so again now, we might as well add in our bevel, so Control A, right click, so origins geometry, bevel, and we'll just simply put this on 0.003 like so, and then I'm just going to drop this down into place like so. And a bucket would be, if you bring it down to something like that, that's probably how it's going to be looking. And now we'll do the same thing with these. First of all, these, Control A, right click, set origins geometry, shade smooth, auto smooth on, and now finally let's bevel these off. So add modifier, bevel, bring it down 0.003, and there we go. All right, let's apply that. Let's make sure we've got no modifiers on any of these. So let's apply that, and then let's join it all together with Control J and right click shade smooth. Just make sure auto smooth is on, and there we go. There is our bucket. All right, so finally now, I did forget one thing. We do need some water on this bucket. Now, although water is see-through, we still need a mesh to put it on. So let's actually, first of all, bring our cursor to our bucket. So Shift S, cursor to selected, and we just want a simple plane on here. So if I press Shift A, bring in a circle, make sure it's on 16, and then all I'll do is I'll make it smaller to the right side. So I'll bring it up, and I want my water to be maybe just in there like so. Press the tab button, press Alt F just to fill it in, and there you go. There is your actual water ready to go. Now let's join this to the actual bucket, because what that means is it will inherit all of the smoothness like here. If I join it the other way around, so I'll just quickly show you this because it's very interesting. If I get the bucket and I join it to this plane and I press Control J, you can see now that we've not got any auto smooth on. Press Control Z though, and I join it the other way. So if I grab the top, grab my bucket, Control J, you can see it inherits the auto smooth. So that's why we do it that way around. All right, so now we actually come into the last actual crate. So let's get the sizing scale of the crate correct first. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to world origin, Shift A, let's bring in a cube. I'm going to make it a lot smaller. I'm going to press 1, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up like so, and then S and X, pull it out. I want it to be a fairly chunky actual crate. Now the thing is with this crate, it's going to be a little bit easier actually than the crate over here. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to press Control O, bring it up. So that's going to be the top of the crate right there. I'm going to separate that off now as well, because that then will make it easier for me. So if I come in, press Control plus, press Y, G, hide that out of the way. All right, so with the rest of the crate, I want it to be supported by some kind of planks coming up here. As you can see on the reference, I don't actually want any kind of blocks in here. I want it just to be a little bit different. So the way I'm going to do that, first of all, I'm going to bring in some edge loops around here. So left click, right click. And then what I want to do though is I want to make sure that I can actually randomize this and make them a little bit uneven. So I'm going to first of all right click, mark seams. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control R, bring in some more edge loops, left click, right click. Do the same on this side, maybe not as many on this side, just 2, left click, right click. It really doesn't matter how many you bring in, just don't go over the top with it. And then what you want to do is you just want to now split these off as well. So right click, mark seams, and then finally the bottom. Now you could have the bottom exactly the same as the top, but I don't think so on this. What I'll do is I'll just mark a seam going all the way around there. So right click, mark seam, and then what I'll do is I'll come to each of these. So I'm just selecting this, Control selecting, Shift selecting, Control selecting like so, right click, mark seams. Now I'm just going to split everything off. So I'm going to come in with L. I'm going to do probably these two first. So what I tend to do is I'll come to the first lot, I'll press Y and then H. I'll come to the next lot, L, Y, H. And then basically I'm going to work my way along. So I'm going to do both of these at the same time. So as you can see, I'm going Y, H, and then working my way along Y, H. And basically on these ones, because they're not joined to anything, I can just come in, grab both of these, press Y and H, hide them out of the way, press Alt H. And now just to give it a test, always give it a test. So what you can do is you can come in, individual origins, and now you just press S, and you will see how everything is split up. So you can see basically how everything's split up there. Press Control Z, and there we go. Now let's work on this top first. So I'm going to grab the top of it. I'm going to make it slightly bigger. And you can see that when I pulled that out, it's pulling out in a weird way. It's pulling this out further than this part. It could be that it's a rectangle, or it could be the fact that I've not reset the transformations since I did all that work. So I'm just going to press Control A, all transforms, right click, so Origins Geometry, go back in now, and now let's pull it out, and it should pull out a lot more even. Let's try. Yeah, and it's pulling out relatively even, not quite, but relatively. So I'm just going to pull it out like that. And then instead, I'm just going to press S and Y and just pull it out like that. And there we go. That's the top of our crate. All right, so I'm really happy with this so far. I'm just going to save it out. And on the next lesson, then, we should be able to get this crate absolutely finished. All right, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I'll see you on the next lesson. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.